And hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge back once again for the very final time on my playlist Valiant Until the Last, where I have gone through the entirety of the Valiant universe from 2012 up until the modern day. I've gone through every single hardcover deluxe edition, every single uncollected edition. I've done a few spin-off videos, and today, the last video of all, I'm going to be showing you the final Valiant reading map which I have devised for the entirety of the Valiant series. So with no further ado, I'm going to jump over to a video I've caught using slightly different software. I'm kind of revamping and rejigging a lot of the ways this channel works, as you'll see in just a moment. So fingers crossed, I will see you on the flip side. And here we go. All being well, you should be looking at my own personal website, which is www.nogodsorkings.com. I originally set this up in order to promote the novels that I'm writing. There's been a bit of a hiatus in those, thanks to life and a huge and unenviable series of personal problems. But the new book is due to be coming out at the end of this year, and so this front page here will change a little bit at that time. But what I'm going to talk about today is right at the top here. You can see I've got a free excerpt for the book, some details about the different installments, FAQs, and a new tab here called Reading Maps. I'm going to click on Reading Maps, and you will see this. Now this looks like there's no maps on there at all. I don't quite know what this is. This is still a test page. I'll update this blurb and the text here as and when I add more things to it. But for now, all you need to do is click refresh. And once you refresh the page, suddenly the maps turn up. I don't know why this is the case. I don't know why you need to refresh it. I'm still tinkering around. But what I will just say while all this loads is that my previous reading maps have always been kind of small, low resolution JPEGs or PNGs, or in some cases PDFs and so on. And what I want is a more sustainable, high resolution and really helpful kind of way of doing reading maps in future. And so that's what I've done here. I'm paying for a new bit of software, much like the software I'm using to record this video, which allows me to make high resolution, kind of infinitely scalable maps. So on that basis, I'm just going to go to the map here, and you'll see this little icon come up on the right-hand side in the top corner. If you click on that, we have a full screen map. And this, everybody, is what I hope you'll appreciate me having spent a lot of time pulling together. So with no further ado, I'll start talking you through it. What we have here at the top part is all the issues that we've talked about and discussed. And then here we have the kind of the Rye 4001, kind of the climax of the Valiant era. And then here at the bottom, we've got a little bit of out of continuity stuff. This design and the aesthetics might change over the next few months or next year or so, as I'm carrying on to tweaking and improving the aesthetics. But broadly speaking, this is what we're talking about. Now you'll notice a lot of images here, and these images correspond exactly to the thumbnails of my 77 video guide, Valiant Till the Last. And so as a result, if you're looking for further information on any single one of these, just go find the video that has that thumbnail in my reading order. So why not start on the left here? You'll notice as it zooms in, unlike previous reading maps on my channel, the resolution remains really high. This is the new software that I'm paying for. It's been a bit of a saga getting to a point that I've worked out how to do all this, but this is the precursor for a lot of new improvements on my channel. So future videos, and there are going to be a lot of future videos and lots of new reading maps, are going to be using this new software. Let's dive into it. Archer and Armstrong, we've got Volume 1, Volume 2. We then have a slight bit of a tangent with Ivar, Time Walker, and Dr. Tomorrow there, or you can carry on to A and A. And that's really simple. We've got a really simple Archer and Armstrong thread there. For all of these in general, it's a case of start at the top and work your way down, and that gives you an idea of where to go. As ever, these are reading guides, not reading orders. I'm not going to tell you read exactly this issue, then exactly that issue, then exactly the other issue. If that's what you want, what you're after is a reading order, which means you're a type P reader. I've done videos on my channel before about the difference between type P and type J readers. Type Ps are obsessive, who believe that there is a single perfect reality and very perfect reading order, and they have to get it absolutely excruciatingly right first time. And a Type J reader is a lot more relaxed and is more interested in the relationships from one series to another. And very broad ideas, such as the ones that I put forward, something happens before or after something else, is enough for a Type J reader. These reading maps are designed for Type J readers. So on that basis, let's dive in and have a look at Harbinger and Bloodshot. If we start at Harbinger and work our way down, we have Harbinger Volume 1, we then have Harbinger Wars, then going back to the left, we have Harbinger Volume 2. Harbinger Volume 2 splits into 3 strands. On the left, we've got Faith Volume 1, Volume 2, and then the Harbinger series that followed it. In the middle, we have Generation Zero, and then the picture underneath that is for my Harbinger Renegade video. Under that is Secret Weapons, then Harbinger Wars 2, and then Livewire. All of these have been covered by videos on my channel, by the way, with individual pictures exactly like the ones that you're seeing here. Some of them I have had made into custom binds, and I am dropping those on the channel as well. If you're watching this video as it comes out, you may not have seen all the custom bind videos yet, but if you're watching this in a few months' time, all those custom bind overviews should have come out. And then, Harbinger Volume 2 there, and the third strand it leads into is Imperium, and below Imperium, the life and death of Toyo Harada. I have absolutely no doubt I'm going to get lots of questions going, well, I read Harbinger and I read Harbinger 2. What should I read first? Should I read the Faith Strand? Should I read Generation Zero down to Harbinger War? Should I read Imperium? I don't know and I don't care. Frankly, that's up to you. These are just 3 things that spin out of Harbinger. This is a reading guide and not a reading order. And you need to have some mental flexibility and take ownership of what you want to read and the way in which you want to read it. But this is to give you an indication of what ties into what. Because personally, I had no idea that Generation Zero led into Renegade, led into Secret Weapons, and so on. So hopefully that information is of use. Let's move back up, and we've got Bloodshot. So again, we have Bloodshot there, Volume 1, and again that ties into Harbinger Wars. I remember my Harbinger Wars video, I rave on about how good that event is and how well it works for both of those characters. After Harbinger Wars, we've got Bloodshot Volume 2 when we're going to the right. That then takes us down to this event here, the Valiant. And the Valiant spins out into 2 threads. For now, we're going to go on the left, and we've got Bloodshot Reborn Volume 1, Bloodshot Reborn Volume 2, Bloodshot Salvation, and then you'll notice Bloodshot Salvation has a line that goes directly down to the 2018 Tim Seeley series of Bloodshot. Here, as a slightly disconnected box, we've got the Bloodshot Rising Spirit series, which, if you watch the video, you'll understand why I've put it here, and you'll understand why I haven't connected it directly with a line to any of the other Bloodshot editions, because really it's kind of standalone, it's bordering on out of continuity. I put it here for now, but I really don't feel that it's something that you should necessarily feel mandated to read as part of your Bloodshot reading. I'm conscious Bloodshot continues, but we'll cover that in just a second. Let's go back up, and we have Eternal Warrior. So here we have the Eternal Warrior miniseries that weren't collected in hardcover deluxe editions, and in fact, I didn't bother making a deluxe edition myself. We then had the Days of Steel miniseries, and that leads into the Valiant again. Coming out of the Valiant and going to the right, we then have the Book of Death. We then have the Wrath of Eternal Warrior deluxe edition hardcover. We then have the Incursion deluxe hardcover, and I do have a custom bind of that, which is on my channel. And we then have the Forgotten Queen. We'll see where that goes in just a moment, but for now, let's just pull back a little bit. What I just want to point out here is that in the middle of the map, I have put Divinity and Eternity right here on the side. They both link. Divinity comes first, Eternity comes next. But what I will say is it's hard to know where these fit in. In a lot of ways, they are standalone. In a lot of ways, they don't require any of the other reading to make sense or to see where they're coming from or where they fit in, and so on and so forth. So that's really kind of something for you to think yourself in terms of where you want that to fit in and how you want that to work. Okay, so as we said, there's Divinity and Eternity just in the middle. I made them slightly larger and they're connected there. Let's have a look at Exo Manowar. Again, let's start at the top and work our way down. We have Volume 1, then we have Volume 2. Volume 2 allows you to spin out to either read the Dead Drop miniseries, which is rubbish and I wouldn't recommend it, or to spin out to the right and read Unity Volumes 1 and Unity Volumes 2. Again, Volume 2 is a custom collection I've made and is on my channel. Or we can continue straight down from Volume 2 and read Armor Hunters, Volume 4, Volume 5, And then we get into the yellow branded relaunch or the second series, so like Exo Manowar Volume 1 with that yellow branding, or Volume 2 with the yellow branding. We then have the Dennis Hopeless series of Exo Manowar, so again it starts with an issue 1. This deluxe edition is in theory coming out, but I am extraordinarily skeptical it's ever going to get released. And then that leads into the Psylords series, which I had a custom deluxe edition made. Let's go all the way back up to Shadow Man. We have Shadow Man Volume 1, Shadow Man Volume 2 with that Punk Mambo cover, and that leads into the series Rapture, which is quite essential for Shadow Man. From Rapture, going to the left of Rapture, we have the death-defying Dr. Mirage. Then we have Shadow Man with that cover there. That's the Andy Diggle cover with the white silhouette. That then leads into the Punk Mambo miniseries, which leads into another Dr. Mirage miniseries, which leads into the most recent Shadow Man series. And then right at the end, we have Shadow Man and Persephone in the God, what is that called? Book of Shadows. Ha, that's a bad sign. Don't remember it in T minus 1 week. But yeah, so that's the Book of Shadows there at the bottom of the Shadow Man thread. Let's go back up, and we've got Ninjak. So Ninjak, we've got Volume 1. It then intersects with the Shadowman thread by having Rapture there. You don't have to read Rapture, but it is referenced if you come to the right and go back into Ninjak in Ninjak Volume 2. So Ninjak Volume 2 does reference the events of Rapture, so I would recommend reading it in between Volumes 1 and 2. After Ninjak Volume 2, we then have the standalone Ninja K Deluxe Edition. After that, you can then read in either order, either the KI6 miniseries or the Roku miniseries. The parallel, please don't bore me with the tedious questions about which one you should read first or what spoils what, because you can see here the relationships between them. And then after Ninja K as well, if you want to continue on, there is another Ninjak series after that, which is just a 4-issue, very badly drawn and poorly written series, unfortunately, but you can see the video for that on my channel. Going back up then, right to the right-hand side, we've got Quantum and Woody. We've got Volume 1, we've got Volume 2, and then we have 2 uncollected editions. So we've got that one in the middle you can see there, and then the one right at the bottom you can see here, which is the most recent series. Okay, obviously none of these include the series that have just started coming out. I mentioned it in my last video or the video before about the new Bloodshot series, the new Exo Manowar series, and so on. As I said, with the bankruptcy of Valiant, this is largely something which I'm going to consider as a fixed map. But again, with the new software that I'm paying for, the new approach that I'm using, not only is this a high resolution map, it's also a live map. So if anything changes, if anyone that's watching finds an error or comes up with a better idea or a suggestion for how I might restructure this, then I can always do that. I can do that live in the cloud, which is a really exciting development and improvement in these maps for me. So those are all the main series and hardcovers, but that's not all. The entire Valiant universe as a whole then kind of comes to a climax here in the Rye arc or thread of the comic. So it doesn't matter what you read or where you go with this, but once you decide you want to get into the end game, then you can start here with these Rye series. Now I'll talk through these first. You've got The Visitor, which is an uncollected series there at the top. Then you've got Rye, which is a massive whale and a really beautiful looking deluxe edition. You've then got 4001 AD. You then have the War Mother miniseries, and you then have the Rye Deluxe Edition, which actually collects 2 different series, both Fallen World and the ongoing Abner Rye series. Now, the reason that 4 or 5 of these lines all connect to the Rye universe is because Bloodshot resurfaces within the Rye comics. The Eternal Warrior resurfaces in the Rye comics. Exo Manowar resurfaces in the Rye comics. So does Shadowman. So does Ninjak. However, Divinity and Eternity do not resurface in the Rye comics. Nothing that's Harbinger related is in Rye. Nothing that is Archer and Armstrong, or in fact Ivar Timewalker, or in fact Quantum and Woody resurfaces down here. That's why none of those lines are linked into this. So like I say, this is a guide, not a reading order. It's about relationships and relational understanding of how one set of information links to another. So, with that information, do what you will. If you're interested in reading Rye, you don't have to read Harbinger stuff beforehand, for example. And there we have it. Let's move all the way down. I've just put this little Valiant banner on the bottom because it looks nice. So aesthetics. On the left-hand side, we have the sort of out of continuity comics. As an example, I'm just zooming in here, and you'll see, look at that. High resolution, no blurring, no problems. We have got Armorclads, which in theory kind of touches base with the Eternal Warrior in one page in the last issue, but frankly, that is some contrived bullshit, so I'm not interested. It's nothing to do with Exo Manowar, even though it is called Armorclads. We then have Q2, Quantum and Woody. As you'll see from the video on my channel, not really related. We have Valiant High and we have Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. So at least three of these have literally been the last three videos on the channel because they're all quite distinctly out of continuity. I'm going to zoom out, and on the right hand side, which unfortunately I can't zoom into on this particular bit of software, we have two series that are definitely out of continuity. We have Savage, both series of it, and we have Britannia, which has a deluxe edition hardcover, and they're all out of continuity. And there we have it. That is the full map. As you can see, this is the whole thing zoomed out as much as I possibly can, but you can zoom in as much as you can. Like I say, it's infinitely scalable. You can zoom in, you can have a look at it. Now, because I'm doing it on a desktop, unfortunately, I can't really zoom in a huge amount on the right-hand side, and I can't map and scroll it around. That's a combination of the software I've used to build the map and the software I'm using to do a screen capture. What I would say is that if you're interested in having a look at the map, then all you need to do is to go onto my website. Having gone onto my website, all you then need to do is click on the map in the corner, as I've said here. And if you do it on a device like a tablet or a mobile phone, you'll be able to zoom into it as much as you want. You'll be able to zoom around from left to right, up and down, scroll in, scroll out, and so on. Hopefully, you'll find it really, really useful. Something I will point out is that you won't be able to download it. Now, that was a hard decision for me to come to, and the reasoning behind it is the software that allows me to make these high resolution, live, editable, infinitely scalable, and zoomable maps does not allow me to provide a download version unless I pay substantially more for it. Now, because my videos aren't monetized and because I don't have a Patreon and because I don't take donations, this is all coming out of my own pocket and it is a substantial cost. So, unfortunately, for now, I'm not in a position that I'm going to be allowing downloads or being able to pay to allow a download functionality. I know that's a shame. I know that'll frustrate some people, but it's on the website for free. So just go on the website and look at it live while it's connected to the internet from there. On that note, you'll notice on the reading guide part of the website, I've actually rebuilt a previous reading guide. I rebuilt my reading guide for Marvel Noir. It looks a little bit nicer, it's a little bit updated, and it also has another series that wasn't covered in that Marvel Noir video. If you're watching this because you're into Valiant, feel free to ignore this, but my point is, what I may well end up doing is rebuilding some of my older videos in this new infinitely scalable, high res, online only system. Let me know what you think, whether you think it's a good idea or a bad idea. This page is always going to look slightly different. I'm always going to be tweaking the text, adding more links. I might be tweaking and improving the aesthetics behind the maps and so on. But yeah, that's the plan. And that is the Valiant map. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that was useful. And yeah, let me switch to just the final few moments of this video. And there we have it. What a saga. What a journey. Thank you so much, everyone that's been with me for this journey for all these videos. 77 videos, 77 weeks, and I haven't missed a single upload. I know there's a lot of people that when I started this were pretty convinced that I was going to fizzle out, as so many YouTube channels do. They decide to do a particular thing and then they just kind of lose the will and kind of lose the motivation. That's not how I work. Anyone that's really watched my channel and seen things like my new 52 guide knows that I'm always in for the long haul. And it's been really interesting doing this. It's motivated me to read my Valiant collection, which frankly I hadn't read and I needed to read. So that's been really useful. It's got me involved in making lots of customs, and there will be a few more bonus videos joining the playlist showing the custom editions. But most of all, it's help you connect with a bunch of cool people. So thank you so much to those people that have reached out, have messaged, have tweeted, have emailed, have shared bits of their collection, that have taken part of the giveaways and so on. I really appreciate this. A lot of this is about community. A lot of this is about getting a chance to share what I've done with sensible people who have a similar collecting interest. Those of you that have asked stupid questions and made insulting comments, go fuck yourself. But nonetheless, everyone else, it's been great, and I've really enjoyed having you here. Um, Thank you so much. Please comment down below and let me know what you think of the entire series. Did you think that I was actually going to get through it all? Have you come to this later in the day in a couple of years' time and this is the first time you've come across it? Are there any suggestions or anything that perhaps I could add to it as an epilogue or due to tweak or improve the map? Chances are I'll probably ignore a lot of those, but if there's any of those that are actual, diamonds in the rough, then those are ideas that I will pick up and I will do. So I do appreciate the content, the feedback, the likes, the subscriptions, the sharing, and the support, frankly. Thanks so much, everyone. What I'll be doing is taking a little bit of break from Monday uploads for maybe a few weeks, and then I'm going to move into a new series, which is not going to be Valiant related. I should point out, if you're the sort of person who's only a Valiant fan and you only care about Valiant and nothing else, and you're not interested in Marvel or DC or any of my other stuff, now's the time to check out the channel because there's not going to be much more Valiant on the channel. For the last year, it's been Valiant dominated due to the nature of this series, but from now on, it's pretty much going to have hardly any Valiant in it. So please don't feel obliged to stay here if that's not what you're interested in. But yeah, if you are purely a Valiant fan, then best of luck to you in the future. And thanks very much for coming along on the ride, everyone. Stay classy, all. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. As always, please follow me on Twitter at I am Thomas Judge, where I will post a daily review of whatever comics I've been reading. You can get an idea of what I'm up to on the channel. And as always, please support the channel by heading over to Amazon.com and checking out my prose novel about superheroes. It's a completely original piece of work. The first episode in it is called Arrivals, and the series as a whole is called No Gods or Kings. You can find an excerpt of that on my website, nogodsorkings.com. Until next time, everybody, stay classy.